Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well and you're fit and fine. And I know you are much awaited for this series. And here is the first video I'm launching, the first video of our Oops course. It's the most in-depth course if you have ever seen on YouTube. मतलब इससे depth course तुमको नहीं मिलेगा. I'm covering everything in detail and prepare you for the interview ready. If you're in first year, second year, third year, fourth year, does not matter. You learn these concepts and you will crack the interview. That's my guarantee because we'll cover everything in this course. So thank you so much for showing so much love, इतना सारा प्यार दिखाने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. And then what we're gonna do is we'll cover everything. Let's try to deep dive into it. It's to our first lecture, which is classes and objects. Quickly go through it. Pretty much excited? Do let me know in the comments how much you're excited. Okay. So quickly let's try to understand first कि भैया what is oops. पहले ये तो बताओ, आपने बहुत सारा प्रचार कर दिया है. What is oops? Oops का कोर्स ला रहे हो आप. Oops है क्या? What is oops? Oops, क्या ये अनदर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज है? नहीं. इट्स अ वे ऑफ राइटिंग कोड. इट्स अ वे ऑफ राइटिंग कोड. इट्स हाउ स्ट्रक्चर्ड अ स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्मेट में आप कोड लिखते हो. दैट्स वे इट्स इजियर, राइट? लाइक तुम ऐसे कंपनी में हो एंड यू कैन राइट कोड इन एनी वे, राइट? Like, okay, you have to implement something. You write, okay, you're making like your homemade projects, right? You implement it in that way. That's not gonna work in a company, right? There is a structured format available. Okay, there should be common knowledge. Like, you know how you write a code in a particular way, but some other guy write in some other ways. There is no structure, right? And always when you're dealing in teams, the structure is very, very important. That's why OOPS is required. Firstly, and then what is OOPS? It's a way of writing code in a structured format. That is OOPS. That's all. And in which language we can learn OOPS? There are multiple languages. Are there? C++ is the most common language. Java is also another common language. There is JavaScript as well. There are many languages, but I have picked C++ for this course for implementation. Don't worry, if you know Java as well, you can learn these concepts because the implementation part only will change, and slightly the core concept will remain same. The object notion, classes notion, and all the four pillars will remain same. Don't worry about it. You can try to Google up your stuff if you are a Java person. But yeah, I will cover everything related to C++ for the implementation side. We'll live code everything, but don't worry about that. Okay, so I hope you understood the gist. Okay, what is oops? It's just thing, but just a way of writing a code. That's all. Someone asks you, you can tell that. Cool. Now let's say why oops, bhaiya? There are too much to learn again. I already explained my previous video like why you should learn oops, but now I will deep dive into technical details that why oops. See, let's say you're making a game. Okay, you're making a game, and there is a person, and let's say he have some capabilities that okay he can run, he can attack. Let's say he's a game person, he can attack, or maybe he can sit in a car. Okay, this is the functionalities this character can do. ठीक है भैया, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. And then there is another person with the same capabilities, just the name is changed. Name उसका राम था और उसका श्याम था. You will be like, now do you need to write again these things, the code which you have wrote for him again for him? Why to write yaar bar bar? Why to write the same piece of code if they're doing the same thing, just the name is changed? That's why oops is very, very important because it will help to reuse the code. We'll see the code and we'll understand in detail, but I'm just developing the intuition that why oops comes into the picture. First place, first principles we will learn. Reuse the code. Better structure, I already explained you. Better structure, you can say. In a team you are working, you need a better structure, a systematic format that you can write. Easy to maintain is another thing. Easy to maintain. You can write messy code, it's gonna work. See, now it does not matter that your code works or not when you enter into an industry, right? It should be in that way that another developer can easily read it and update it. You're not gonna work full time in your company, right? You can switch and something like that. Or maybe if you don't switch, you can switch teams also. So Other developers should understand your code and update the code. That's why oops code is written in such a way that you're easy to maintain, better structure, reuse the code, no redundancy is there, and much more is there. But that's a just high level overview why oops is there. Something, nothing. Okay. Now let's try to talk about classes and objects. This is the most fundamental concept. Most fundamental concept in oops. Okay. What are classes and objects? I will always explain everything with the help of example सो दैट सबको समझ में आ जाए कि हाँ यार मजा आ जाए मतलब ऐसे अंदर से समझ आए ओ भैया मजा आ गया you should feel like that you can explain this to others you don't need to think oh yeah this I know it this is for sure that it is right what is classes classes you can say is a blueprint it's a template blueprint blueprint भैया हाँ I am remembering blueprint map का एक blueprint होता है let's say you are making a house right you cannot directly build a house right you need a blueprint for that that okay यहाँ पे kitchen होगा यहाँ पे bathroom होगा you need a blueprint for that right and then you will think about okay how to work let's say you have a game character right you know that okay firstly you have to make a blueprint okay what characters we can have what capabilities he can have how he can run let's then we will implement it right and then we can define for different and different objects that's how the blueprint is hidden in a class. A class, if you can say a formal definition, class, it is an template or a blueprint for implementing a structure. It's a class, okay? An object. See, classes are not real. It's a blueprint only. And objects are instance of a class. What's the instance? Instance of a class. Like you define a class once only. You won't define a blueprint multiple times, right? Again and again, you are defining classes blueprint, right? No, you can modify that class, right? You wrote a blueprint, you can change that, but you won't implement it again and again, right? But this object is instance of class. What is the instance? Let's say you implemented a house blueprint, okay? House blueprint you have implemented. Now you will make actual house out of it. Actual house. And that is nothing but an object. So object is a real thing. It's a real thing. You can say that. Okay. So you can say that let's say you implemented a student class means a student should have let's say his name his roll number his marks like that and now you will create actual student out of it okay student let's say whatever we created right ram there similarly you create a game character you wrote a game class okay this character can have these capability now you can copy okay this functions this can be taken by this character let's say iron man this can be taken by thor but let's say there are some dissimilarities between them right not everything is same right let's say their main move or you can say wwe also right let's say their main move like attack is like for roman rings it is uh spear right they are different so this you can define as a special attack this is a special attack. This can be different for different, but the common thing, let's say you are punch or you can say kick, these are fixed, right? So something's common, something reusable, something different. That's how we're using the classes and objects. Objects use those blueprints to implement in real life. That's the idea and notion of a class. Okay. So before moving into other ahead, let's try to see how an actual class looks like. Let's try to quickly write a code for that. Okay, so this I will be implemented in C++, so you can easily understand an implementation as well. Let's try to make a student class. How does a class look like? And I will define its properties as well. I am defining now I will explain everything that okay, what does this publics look like? I'm just demoing you what is it, right? Then we'll see. Let's say I'm defining some properties of a student. Okay, he have an age, he have some marks, and he have some name. Okay. So I am expecting that you know some basics of C++, some basic data structures and basic you have learned about it. You don't need to know data structures specifically, but basic C++ is required. Okay. So yeah. So let's say I define the three things here, right? His name, his uh, his marks and his name I have defined. Okay. Okay, I have not defined here stdio. I have to include the string library as well. Oh, sorry, I haven't included iostream. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So yeah, so we have defined the string name as there, and here you have defined this colon, right? So this is a class. Okay, this is a blueprint. Okay, how does I define a student? Okay, he can have a roll number as well. Let's try to add one more field, roll number. I will always write in the camel case everything so that it looks neat and clean. Now what I can do is I can create an object out of it. How can you create an object? See, this is a class. Now you want to derive an object out. Let's say I want to create Ram here. Okay. He uses this blueprint student, and he is an actual object. So you can say that Ram is a object and student is a class. Okay, fine. Now what I can do? I can define the RAM name. I can define its age, his marks. So what I can do? How can I access these properties? You can use a dot operator to access his properties. You can set the age. Okay, age equals to, let's say five, not five. Let's say 20. Okay. Now let's try to name the RAM. This see the name is not RAM name is not set to name here, right? You have to set it. So what you can do is equals to, now his name is set, and then same thing, it's just a superficial new data structure you have created, nothing fancy, like how you created graph trees, right? How you implemented a binary tree class. You have must have saw, if you have saw binary trees, it's the same way that what we are defining another data structure level, but yeah, with our custom properties. So custom properties, राम का name define कर दिया, let's इसका roll number define कर देते हैं, roll number equals to let's say 1, and dot, what remaining marks, let's say uske marks 100. Now what we can do? Now this, we define his properties. Now we can access his properties also कि हाँ यार उसकी properties चाहिए, तो I can just see out क्या राम के marks कितने थे. तो okay यार, so you see that now this we have done, this we have done. Okay, now let's try to see. अब उसकी जो marks हमने set किए थे वो 100 बेसिकली यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, right? Now अपन को क्या चाहिए? This to yaar is fine, bhaiya. How it is useful now? Let's see. Now I define another student, which is Sham. Now see, I don't need to repeat this code again. The student already I've wrote it. Okay, this have again the same properties. You can now again set his properties. Okay, his name is Sham. This is the beauty, that how structured way you write the codes. Okay. What is this public bhaiya? We can access it from the main function. We'll see everything. This comes in the topic of access modifiers. This private, public, and protected. But yeah, I'm just giving you a overall idea. Okay, this is how you write classes. These are the attributes of this class. Okay, age is there, mark. You can define anything, anything you can define, and you can create your own things, right? So I hope you understood a basic notion of how a class looks like, what are its properties. Now let's try to deep down into its technical details, data members and member functions. Now, now tell me one thing. Then let's say I define a game character, maybe, or you can say that there are we have understood what is an object is. Okay, what is an object? Now it can have two things. It can have a data members, which are the attributes. In case of let's say student, what are the data members here? Data members are like age only, whatever we define in the public thing, right? Age, name, roll number, and so on. These are the data member. These are the members, okay, for that particular object, or you can say the particular class. Okay, class. You can say I can use the term object and class simultaneously, but you know the difference, that what is the difference between an object and a class. That's the most important interview question also, by the way. Okay, that also you should know. Okay, now it could have a data member functions also, sorry, member functions. What are member functions bhaiya? Now let's say you want to tell, yeah, let's say you're a game, you have a game character, right? You want to attack. How you attack, you have to define it, right? Function is written. How you attack, it could be different for different persons, right? Let's say you are saying that there is a special attack for a player, right? So how it we have been defined, you have to define this function, and that is known as member functions. Let's say you want to update details, update marks for a student, okay? So you will give something here to update the marks, right? You can say change name, right? These are the functions available. And if you realize, if you think about it, yeah, ये सब जगह use होता है. Like if you think about when you are updating your Aadhaar card details, these are the things are applied, right? When you input into a form that okay, there are some entities that say you fill name, age, these are data members, and if you want to change them, update them, firstly you define them. These are the properties, and then if you want to access them, then you can use the member functions. Okay, so you get a basic idea. Let's try to apply some functions here as well. So these are nothing but the data members. These are the data members. Okay, let's try to define one data member function as well. Member function as well. So let's try to write update marks. So we don't need to return anything. It's just writing simple function only, nothing fancy. Update marks we want to define. Okay. Now we have to give the marks also, right? So we will want to give the new marks as well. Entered. And then what we're gonna do is we will define the marks is equals to new. Okay. Whatever input we got, we just update into a new. Now how you can do that? So instead of defining the updating marks like this, what you can do is you can call ram dot update marks, and you can call it what marks you want to update 100, or you can say 80. Okay, this you can do that, and now when you do the ram dot marks, it will be 80 already. So this is how you can define functions here. You can define anything, update marks and set marks. Now, what are another concept you should know is using these functions is you should know about what's that quiz time is there. Okay. But before that, I just want to tell you one thing that there are something known as getters and setters. As the name suggests, भैया getter से feel आ रही है कुछ तो get करेंगे. और actually literally it is. And setter से भैया feel आ रही है कुछ तो set करेंगे. Yes, it is setting. So getting means getting the value. Getting the value of the data member. Data member, attribute, they are same things, value of data member. I already defined what is data members, right? These are the data members like age, name, roll number, data member. And setters is just setting the value or maybe changing the value, changing the value. Okay. Now you will be like, why bhaiya? Why you want to do that? We can just directly do this thing, right? We already did this thing. Just we are just doing this ram dot marks, and we are updating marks. Update marks is fine, but we are doing like here. Why you need to specifically write the member functions? Why? Why is this required? Now let me explain you one thing. Acha, tell me one thing. When you have a account, let's say bank account, can you directly have the access of everything? Do you have the access of everything? No, right? You cannot have everything, these properties public. Can you have the amount? Like I have mentioned it here is public. We'll see what public means, but you can say that are publicly available. Anybody can access in the entire code. But let's say this is a bank account example. Is your amount accessible to everyone? Or is this have to be there some authentic authentication layer should be there, right? That you have then so you anybody can see your uh you can say amount balance available in your bank account. This should not be in the case, right? There should be some mechanism through which you are accessing that, and that's why these member functions help us to do that. We are getting the value to them, and we are setting the value through them. We're not directly in the main function itself dot using dot operator doing that. That's very important. Okay, so let's try to do that. So instead of setting the name like this, we won't do like that. This is a wrong way of implementing that. So we will set the name. So we'll say that void set name. We'll give a name. Now this is also interesting thing. If you write name here, so it already knows that this is the name. If you write name equals to name, this is fine. See, you will see that this is fine. That this name will be filled here. So there's no confusion. If you want to remove this confusion, there's one more keyword is there, which is this keyword, and you can do this. This dot name is equals to name. That this refers to this student object. Okay, so yes, this is the if the names are same, let's say your name also here also name, you can do this. This will help, and this is an arrow operator. We'll see that what does this mean, and you can remember the syntax as of now, but we'll come to that when we are discussing the stack versus heap memory and what this mean in detail. But yeah, you can write for a now here this also work. There's no problem. It will understand. The computer won't confuse. Okay. And then similarly for set name, let's say we want to get name. Now we want to get it. We want to return a string. Get name. Will obviously there's nothing as an input required, right? And then we just return this name. This is how we do that. So let's try to do that. So firstly, what we'll do, Ram dot set name. Let's say I say Ram. Okay, this Ram has been set it. Now I want to get the name. So we can say that Ram dot get name. That's all. Now we don't need to access exactly his name directly, right? We are using through this function. We are doing that. Something happened. Okay, you can say that here you have to define. Oh, sorry, my bad. Their name is defined. Uh, set name is there. Get name we have did that, right? Return name. Okay, we have set the name. This dot name is equals to name. Wait, just a second. It's not happen. Okay, let me just check. Okay, so we have to do that. I think it got confused. It depends on compiler to compiler. That okay, if there's common names are there, this may get confused. Okay, so you can use this dot name here. If you use something else, let's say name here, then it should not be confused here. So you can just write name equals to name, and I think this time it should work. Okay, let's try to do that. Yeah, so actually it got confused. It depends on the compiler sometimes, but yeah, this is a good practice. Don't use the same name as the input name. Okay. Okay. So we understood the concept of the get name and the set name. Okay. We understood, okay, what are getters. See, now I'm not accessing directly, right? I'm using these functions and I can put some checks here. I can put some checks here. And that's how in real life it is implemented. Before setting the name, before getting the name, is the user is authenticated, authenticated or not. That's very important. We can have to write that, right? This is very, very important. So that's why these getters and setters are important. Okay. I hope you understood the entire intuition that what we are doing now, and this is very much interesting. Build many classes, complex objects. Will write these functions, and will build something crazy out of it. Right? I hope you like that thing. Let's quickly move to this quiz time, and then let's try to solve this question. Which of the following best describe a class in the C++? So it could be in Java as well. So do pause the video and do let me know in the comment what is the answer. Pause for a while. Whoever will comment the first. Already told in my promo video that yes, if you're being consistent, top five I will give the shout outs to them. So yeah, do let me know. A real world entity with properties and methods, a template or a blueprint used to create objects, a variable that holds memory on the heap, a function that operates on data. What do you think? So I'm revealing answer in five, four, three, two, one, and the answer is this. Why a template or a blueprint used to create objects? I already explained you it's a template, it's a blueprint. That's how you write a class. So yeah, this much is today's for today's video. These are the practice questions. We'll discuss these questions in the next video. The next video will discuss them. Also, I have created a detailed notes, type notes also. These notes also will be available. The type notes also will be available with some more practice questions. You can check it them out. These are most relevant interview questions. Very, very important interview questions, and we'll discuss them in the next video. There was a difference between an object and a class. Give a real life example to explain what are data members and member functions, implement a employee class, and write getter and setter for updating and setting the salary, right? These are the practice questions. And do let me know the feedback that how much you like the course. If you want any changes, I will do that. And also, these are the notes which I was talking about. I will provide you these notes, are the very detailed notes with some code example and snippets. These are the practice questions available to you. At MCQs also available, and we will discuss them as well. Okay. So yeah, I hope you like the video, and if you are pretty much excited, do subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you in the next lecture.